I was just, I was just sitting here, thinking and channeling. And I've not ever really channeled some of the more bizarre things. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and start. And what came out of my mouth and shocked me was the mass cleansing that's getting ready to happen. And I don't know if I'm not sure. The mass cleansing that's getting ready to happen. That can mean a lot of things. Does it mean the mass cleansing of my particular, point of origin with people that I separated from? Is there a mass cleansing of that we're finally done and, stop, all the weird shit, stop, the connection, because that's not going to happen at that level. Stop tuning that frequency. No. Is that the mass cleansing we're talking about? Or are we talking about the mass cleansing, kind of mass ethnic cleansing of war that's happening right now? What's happening, and on what dimension? Because that's really what it's about. At what level of consciousness or dimension or awareness or whatever we're in the Akashic Records? Where do we find it in the depths and the deeps of consciousness, awareness, and beingness? Because the human experience is relegated to human experience on Earth. The human being, my energy when I'm elsewhere isn't traveling as a human being. I don't take my vehicle with me when I go. There's no way I can. The only place that I can take my physical vehicle with me anywhere is 3D Earth. That's it. And, we're moving into that the light bodies and everything, except that people have this misperception, I believe, that if you don't believe in magical things that are going to magically create brand new Earth, then, you're a reptile. And I'm going to say that I'm a pretty enlightened individual, and I can believe a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of miracles. I am a miracle. I'm still alive, and, been given a lot of chances not to be. So I have lots of reasons to believe in miracles and to have witnessed them and to have created them by being in that, just do the right thing, and miracles happen. Miraculous things they happen if you're in that really the desire to just do good, do good, tell the truth, and do as little harm as possible with that, because you want to hurt people's feelings. Hurt people's feelings, however, don't intentionally try to hurt people's feelings. If it does, okay, and do what you can, appropriate boundaries, respect, that kind of stuff. And we're at a time now where you get to choose every single time you're met with opposition. Do you want to grow, or do you want to stagnate, or do you want to demote yourself further in the spiritual realms? And if you don't even know that you belong in the spiritual realm, that's dealing with triage at a level of, oh yeah, that's a black tag. You be breathing and looking fit, fine, and beautiful as hell. And no, you're black tag. No, because there has to be the willingness to go forward. New Earth is not going to look like people are talking about anytime soon, not in anybody's lifetime that's alive today. That is not going to happen, that we have med beds and people disappearing and shape-shifting through walls and shit. It's not happening now the way that people are thinking it is. The reptilian thing and shape-shifting, let's talk about that for a minute. Shape-shifting, if you want to be counterintelligence, you better know how to do all the things that your, opposition can do. So what do you think the ops, as they call them, if you look at it like a military operation, if you strategically want to get the job done, then you strategize well. If you don't, then you don't strategize at all, or you wing it, or you hire people on your team, of assassins or get the job done group of people that you can't really trust. It breaks down pretty quickly. And here's where I'm at with that, is that I'm into completing the mission. I don't give a shit what anybody else's agenda is, if they're a lizard or not. It's a matter of, do you wish to complete the mission or not? Because I have one. If you don't, why don't you know that you have one? And if you don't have one, why not? That's a valid question. How is it that you made it here that you don't have a mission on the earth? Because you made it here, you dropped out of a mother to drop onto Mother Earth, then you have a fee you have to pay for being here. So your mission is you're paying your way as you're here, and not just some guest sitting on their spiritually lazy ass, or their human lazy ass, whatever it is, self-righteously digging away at planet Earth and, raping, pillaging, and plundering, taking what I want without any consideration. 444. Those days are over. The age of Aquarius is here. Pisces, beat it. We aren't doing that anymore. We're going very Jupiter expansive. Saturn's come back around, all these retrogrades, all these alignments, and what was it? Neptune in Pisces or something. I mean, we've got stuff that hasn't happened in 100 and some odd years, and in cosmologically, you know, that's just a blip on the screen. But then the human being's experience is the only time it's going to happen in your lifetime, this lifetime. And for anybody that thinks that there are soulless beings who are just walking around, you have fraction down people that their light is so dim, they don't even believe that light exists. And you know, that's pretty far down. Those people need rehab in a bad way, except that it's know your position, know the position you play, and don't go cross training unless you know that that's the position you have to play. And skilled positions only, man. Skilled positions only. I learned that from Donna Meagle. Thank you very much on Parks and Rec of, oh yeah, if you're playing a position that's dastardly, you're not on my team, because I'm not doing Team Dastardly. If you want to do counterintelligence, you better know how to do all that stuff. However, I don't lead with the manipulation and all that crap. Nah, I set up the scene for this is how I'd like to see that shit happen. And then let that go to my team that I know is taking care of that and has the bigger picture. I have some control over my destiny in that I'm like Jason Bourne. I'm put on the ground. Hey, here's your mission brief. That's what you got to do. Go do that. They don't have an earpiece on him 24/7, and he's reporting back and saying, okay, I'm walking down Apple Street, and now I'm turning right, and I'm going down Franklin Street, and I'm chasing the bad guy at precisely 13 miles an hour. I mean, whatever it is. It isn't like that. When he needs that kind of close contact support, man, he's got it right there. Okay, which way? What do we have on the window? Do we have anybody on the window? And if he's doing his job, he's on task, and he's just doing it, he doesn't need that. But because he's got eyes on, he's got people that are monitoring him from millions of different vantage points, because they got a mission they're trying to complete. They can't lose the asset. We got a job we need to do, and it doesn't always involve assassinating someone. Perhaps. I mean, it doesn't, that kind of work anyway, and a spiritual assassin kind of thing. But if you're a spiritual assassin and you're doing it to be nasty because you're a spiritual hater, don't believe that the spiritual assassin isn't on the other side, being able to say, well, unfortunately, you're the bad guy and you got to go. And shoot a little arrow of love into your heart, whatever it takes, put the block up. And then when the universe hands you back, you're bumping up against a brick wall. You're bumping up against something that's going to boomerang it back, or, discharge that energy away from, because it doesn't vibrationally make it in. If it's not waltzed in by the shoguns, it doesn't come in. If you haven't made it into entry into my space, then you don't get here. I don't mean my physical space, I mean my energetic space, because I have my perimeter is protected. And that's been validated this morning on a reading that somebody talked about. It's almost like you have to have a filter, in order to get through your energy. Like, damn right you do, because I didn't understand that. And because I didn't understand that, I have been grossly overwhelmed with being taken advantage of my whole life, and being abused, and being abusive, because my reaction to being abused is to scream and carry on. I didn't beat and carry on with a huge physical confrontation and things like that. However, I screamed constantly, or I was terrified constantly, just a mess. And even now, like, whoa, hold on one second. Feeling that chaotic energy for the longest time without understanding, no. The lion heart, Leo died 2 days ago. And 3 days ago, Monday, and it's only Thursday. No, it's Wednesday. See that confusion? Fuck the confusion. It's Holy Week. Holy, what the fuck just happened in my life week? My 19-year-old cat said goodbye, and I got other things going on in my world that I don't care what anybody else's reasons, justifications, or motivations are for what they're doing. I really don't. If you're in alignment with me, then we're standing together and we're walking forward to not hold the line anymore. We're not holding the fucking line anymore. We're advancing the line if y'all are going to stop this shit. And anybody united in that of stop abusing this planet, we're on a time schedule here, and you're going to stop. And anybody that doesn't stop, you're sat down. And the mass extermination, whatever that looks like, whether it's local down to one person's world or the world, I have no idea. I just know that on every level of consciousness, that's what it is. On every level of consciousness, that shit is exploding apart. I'm not going to resurrect any of that into my world. Fuck no. And I'm going to run around to as many places I see people that I know people, not just see, out here, that I see and hear and know from my ear. Oh, that's who I need. They're at the bottom of their tower. They're underneath their tower, crawling out and going, wait a minute, what the hell is this? Hold on. I can't. Those are the people that are under the tower still, or they're going, no. They're not my work. Not my work, man. That's a black tag. Your chance of survival on that's very low. Statistically speaking, you're going to lose that fight. Because eventually one of those towers is death. Ego death is what you get first. That's your chance, is ego death. And if you do not get it, folks, you're sat down. And if you're sat down into the ground or into the oven, Leo's gone. Leo lived a very noble life and he did a lot of really great stuff. And you know what? His energy is still here. Still available to me, because that's the loyalty that he demonstrated and that I demonstrated. And he will ride with me forever, because he's one of the ride or die. He's one of the four corners. He's one of the four horsemen. And in my world, the four horsemen and the four corners are both very, very sacred, solid positions. And I didn't know that until he passed, that he is actually one of those. And I'm protected by great energy that isn't here to mess around or let anybody else mess around with me, because I wasn't understanding how to protect my energy. For as long as I don't know how to use the resource of angel protection or ancestor protection or ancestor magic or whatever it is, as long as I don't really know how to use that responsibly and well, with correct intention and following universal law, I'm not going to be able to get those gifts given to me. Doesn't mean that the angels won't help me. The angels help me along all the way. It's just they can't grant me further information until I can demonstrate that I am responsible with that amount of responsibility. If I can't handle the $10 I was given, they're not going to give me 10,000. If I blow it, then when I'm not blowing it, I will get it. It's not like the universe. The universe isn't human. We anthropomorphize a lot because we're human and we assume that everything thinks like human. And you can't think like that. I mean, I can't see that how it is that a human would really want to try to take cosmos and draw it down into the human experience, or even better. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Most definitely. See, that confusion bullshit. Stop that. That trying to take the 3D experience and shove it into outer space. No, because even the laws of physics do not apply the same in outer space. So you can't take your 3D understanding and awareness and consciousness and make that happen with accuracy to outer space or the cosmos or heaven or whatever. You can't logic that out, that it doesn't convey. So there has to be another way. And if that's the case, then what am I going to use as my guidebook? I don't have anything except the Bible. Well, that's the one. Well, I don't have anything except the Quran. Well, that's the one. Well, I don't have anything except the Combine. Well, that's the one. It's the one if it gets you to that place of sacred intention, then that's the one. And if it doesn't get you there and it causes you to scream and rail and, push against the system and you actually make the changes and evolve, then it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Unfortunately, we get stuck reading all this bullshit text of, do good stuff, and yet we're racist. We're greedy. We don't care if other people are impoverished. I got what I want. They should get a job. That's the most anti-humanitarian ethic that I could ever imagine, is to, well, they should. Really? So on your worst day, do you really want to be visiting that? Because right now is the time when those of us that have been looking around with the snide, pinched up face of judgment and might be having a chance to go, you sure about that? Are you ready to stop being the prodigal son now? Because you've run out of all your money, you've run out of all your wealth and your goodies, you've run out of all of that. Now you are down to, you don't have that anymore, and you're at the mercy of other people who you're going to hope are far more generous than you were. And those people that you didn't help, they wish you had been as generous as you need to be. right? Or they need to be to you. There's just confusion coming around all over the place, and that's some bullshit, because I'm not confused. I'm not confused. When I get right here, I know that there's no lizard story, there's no hate story, there's nothing that brings in exclusion that I'm going to buy. People will be excluded. However, it doesn't mean that they should be or that they have to be. They have to be if they continue to leave themselves in the black tag category. Then one day you get taken off the combat status because your body is retrieved from the field where you fell and you're removed from the game entirely. I mean, nobody's going to honor you in a war that nobody's watching. You're an honorable nobody. And I don't care to die in a dishonorable war, for sure. Almost did. And when I die in this honorable war, hopefully it will have died down and it won't be a war anymore, emotionally, physically, financially, academically, whatever it is, life, period, on any level, that all the warring and the this, that, the other, that now's the time that people are being called. You want to flush? Then flush. You don't? Then get busy. And wobbling somewhere in the middle, getting bitchy and itchy and weird on social media or in grocery stores or on the sides of mountains. I don't care. Anybody that's being weird somewhere and mismanaging, now's the time. 1616 just passed. Now's the time that people might be, stepping up one more time with that conjunction that we haven't had in 158 years. Neptune, whatever. You might be making some different changes, because magic is what we have to believe in. Magic is what I have to believe in. Let me put it that way. Magic is what I have to believe in, because that's what I see. And if I believe in the garbage out here, then I'm going to continue to have that garbage life that I had. And once I was opened up to the idea that, that magic stuff, I'm not understanding all the capability of the magic and how much I'm able to see when I get away from people who are busy telling me how much I can't see. Just have one question on that. How the fuck would you know? And just because you don't recognize what I see doesn't mean I'm wrong any more than you're wrong. What you're seeing in your astral places or when you close your eyes is your business, unless you're creating scenes of horror from 3D. If you're having, other stuff, that's yours, and that's beautiful. If you're having a nightmare here on 3D planet Earth, then you got shit you need to do in astral places, maybe that could help you to get rid of those silly faces that would want to create war with you. And I'm thrilled. Not happy that Leo died. Not happy about that, that I had to say goodbye. Happy that closes out a chapter, and I knew that. And he sacrificed and waited. He did. He waited until the energies would be most potent. Now that's teamwork. That he was skinny, he was sick, and I kept thinking, oh no, how am I going to do this if I should call the vet, and he did not care to do that. He wanted to go when he went, and I have to just ask myself, am I just saying that to make that up to make myself feel better? And why would I? It doesn't make me feel better. It doesn't make me less heartbroken that he's gone. It does fill in some blanks about why wasn't I calling? Why wasn't I this? Because I don't feel the shame of it. I feel like I should feel the shame or the blame or the and I didn't. And no, trust and believe my team that he's one of the four corners, and he needed to be there to be able to do the spiritual work more powerfully than he could as a cat here on Earth. That as a cat here on Earth, he was doing a lot to protect me and guide me and keep me grounded, along with Mommy. And Evan Reed runs Blocker for security. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And he is better able, now that he's transitioned, he's better able to act in that spiritual warrior sense. He's big energy. All of them are. All four of those were animals that only one of them is large in stature. The others, not so much. And huge presence, huge personalities, and huge energy. Hidden in some very small bodies that didn't look like much of anything. So with that, I don't know what the mass extermination thing is. other than mass extermination of bad ideas, I'm taking that. I don't know that I'm not predicting global devastation, imminently today, as in, we're going to be at nuclear war. It could be that. I doubt it. It's not the sense I'm getting. Today feels a whole lot better. The actual conjunction has passed. The intensity of it, the most intense point, has passed, and it's actually feels a lot better today. I'm also a lot more grounded and have a lot more guidance than some people, and so there's probably some people that are still feeling pretty, oh my God. And if this is the season of return, tax season, are you gonna like it or are you gonna hate it? What have you been doing the rest of the year? Because if you were doing what you needed to be doing for the whole year, then it wouldn't matter. And if we were in that poverty consciousness, well, I'll just, do this to guarantee I get that. That's not really the greatest return. You're going to get a very finite amount, that if you saved that much of your poverty consciousness, bought you that much reassurance, then that's how much reassurance you're going to get. And it's not unwise to plan and strategize. It's just, what's the motivation of your strategy? If you're strategizing in order to abate the poverty consciousness fear or the lack mentality, then you're basing it on a false foundation, and that's unwise, because it's like building a house on sand. It's unsteady. It won't stick. It won't stay. Eventually, you might make it through a couple of storms. Eventually, when the hurricane comes through, though, it's over. So why would you waste your time? And anybody that's okay with living in that kind of cyclical devastation, 50 years of that I did, and just constantly rebuild. Oh, baby, you got to rebuild that shit somewhere else. Oh, bloom where you're planted, my ass. Pick up your pot and walk on. Yeah, pick up your pot and walk on and strut away, sashay away, and go bloom elsewhere and get out of the pot all together, right? And into the right pot. I mean, if you're going to take the pot, do the right pot. All right, so on that, 2202. Bye.